greys on it. Look at the greys in my beard, Bluto. Look.
Ooh, where we going?
We're going to High Wycombe.
Where we going?
We're going to go to the shop and get some beard dye.
Atlas, look at the state of you.
I know. I have aged years over the course of one weekend.
Oh, we're on the road.
On the road again. We're off to EWA High Wycombe. So another debut for the Beards in a fresh territory.
Welcome to another on the road video, as always.
Hosted by the keyboard warrior Atlas,
the ugly one,
and Mad Dog.
Oh.
I don't give him any pomp and circumstance anymore. He doesn't deserve it. But yes, so we are honoured to have yet another new opportunity. We're off to EWA in High Wycombe. A good friend of ours, Bullet, hooked us up with contact, and we're on our way. So we're going to go and work with a team, tag match, and the team. You said what were they called? Vanity.
Vanity, I think.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, so we're game. We're up for whatever comes. But yes, I started off with. He's got this lovely new camera, and I can see the HD feedback. But I was like, oh my god, my beard is so grey. I'm going to own it, by the way. When I go fully grey, people will have to address me as
Grey's better than what you've got anyway, right? Because it's ginger.
I hate you. But no, I will own it, and people will have to address me as Gandalf. Or Silverback. Yeah, either of those is acceptable.
I'm not calling you either of those things.
So I think a lot of this is, well, it's obviously age catching up to me, but also the stress of the weekend just gone.
Oh, you say stress, but you were loving it. It's obviously Hex Pro last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, and actually, funnily enough, one of the other road diaries, we talked a lot about Hex Pro because it was in the build-up to it, and now we've finally done it. So
footage is coming soon?
Footage will be coming soon. I am playing with it now currently, but in classic kind of first show, you know, everything that could have gone wrong did.
Yeah, you forgot a board.
I forgot. Well, no, there was a missing board. I don't think I forgot it. We counted them.
Did you have it with you?
No.
Did you know where it was when we were?
No, I had no idea.
So you definitely forgot a board.
So there was a board forgotten, but we managed to like jimmy it and get through. The board was then later found in my shed at
where
home,
you left it.
Where we thought we'd unloaded them all, but apparently we missed one. So that was great. And then the spring, which I said was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And that I'd gone and purchased some other bits to make it better. Yeah. Still was a problem because the whole structure went whoop on the side like that. So I was like sweating bullets thinking that the foot plate of the spring is now digging a hole in my school's hall floor, which luckily, touch wood, thank God it wasn't.
Well, we know it wasn't because
we ended up booting it back into place. And we figured out that there was some issues with the straps underneath the ring, and then yeah. Anyway, without going into the technical flim flam, the spring were no good, and so the bump was stiff, and I felt awful because I booked all these top-notch level lads to come and work these matches for me, and they were having to work around a dodgy ring, which, I mean, anyone that's been in wrestling for any stretch of time has ever, has had to deal with that at some point. So, you know, the promoter will say, oh, don't go in that corner, the board's gone, or don't go over there because that rope's dodgy, or whatever it is. But as a promoter, it is a bit of a gut check, and you feel awful on debut having to turn around to the boys and say, take it easy out there, lads, you know. But
Day two was better. We managed to sort out a few of the niggles. And we know where we need to go in future now. We know what we need to do to make it better. And that's the whole point of doing that kind of double debut pilot show, was to figure out all the teething areas and then go from there. Yeah, but I think you say debut and teething show, like, it was a good show though, good house.
Yeah, like
good house.
There was positives. There was so many
great
positives.
Feedback.
Yeah, so many great positives to take away from it. Like as you said, the match quality was stupendous, and we'll talk a little bit more about why I think that is in a minute. All the boys did, you know, they went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and they're both good houses. For, you know, it's a small venue.
So when I say sold out, there was a limit to the capacity on this one that I had to stick to because the head at the school was worried about fire safety. We know that we can expand on that going forward now. Again, you know, we sort of looked at the floor layout and went, we can do this better next time. But that was the whole point of having a first go around. So
yeah, and we've listened to this before though. I would rather wrestle in front of 80 really hot, happy, loud fans than 300 quiet, sad, sullen, moody fans that are not into it.
Yeah, like,
80 happy fans is in a small hall.
Yeah.
It's a glorious environment.
The atmosphere was great. The atmosphere was great, and like you said, everyone that came enjoyed it. We got some really great feedback. What was really interesting was there was a real mix of kids from my school, which I expected, real wrestling fans that had actually travelled to see certain matches, followers of certain wrestlers, and then just randoms in the community that were like, well, we'll fancy a wrestling show. It was a real mixed bag. It possibly leans slightly heavier onto like the families from my schools, but there was a group.
Which, to be fair, that's who it was aimed at.
That's who it was aimed at, but there was a pair of ladies that travelled all the way from Heathrow who normally follow the UPW shows and that kind of neck of the woods, who came down because they know the talent and they like to follow those wrestlers. And they sent me a message saying, you know, really great couple of shows. We really enjoyed it, although we did feel a little bit out of place. And I said, well, hold on, actually, you weren't out of place at all. I took the time to send them a message and say, no, you weren't out of place. I said, because there were girls from my class who had never been to a wrestling show before, who attended that show and probably, you know, subconsciously on some level noted that there were adult female fans in the crowd, and that sends a really positive message that it's okay to be a female fan and to, you know, to carry that on. I said, whether you realise it or not, you know, you were a good example to those kids, and you're welcome to come anytime. So yeah, it was a real nice mixed bag of attendees. But yeah, so basically I've just got a mental checklist of, I know what went well and I know what to do more of in the future, but I know what I need to do to fix it and make it even better in the future as well. So I can't wait now to get back to school after half term. We're currently on the half term break, Easter half term. So when I get back, I'll have a debrief with the head and all the other staff that were involved in that, and we'll start thinking and planning towards the next one, which will probably be the end of the summer term now, so the actual end of the academic year. We'll have a big blowout show then.
You know what was nice as well, Carl? It was seeing, so, like, because I'm in that interesting and weird place, and that in Hampshire there's kind of, I don't want to get into it too much, but there's kind of a divide between certain, should we say, schools?
Yeah.
And I existed across those boundaries because I'm a Kapow guy, I'm a SWF guy, I'm a Premier guy, and once upon a time I was an RPW guy, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and what I loved about the show we put on was seeing all those people at a show locally, just getting on, putting on a great show, with no ego to it of like anything coming from outside into it. It was just a bunch of people saying, should we put on some banging matches?
Yeah. Well, we said in the build-up in one of the other road diaries that these lads are local to the Portsmouth area. It's bizarre that more local promotions haven't used them. We know why. Well, like you said, we're not going to go into it too much.
Because there's politics. Because the thing about wrestling is, no matter what anyone says, we have our own politics backstage, and I guess everyone is wanting to keep hold of and protect what is theirs. And from a business and a performance and craft and arts, and you know, for all that different points of view, there's good reasons why people have why politics exists. But from the workers' point of view, the lads, us lot, we all just want to wrestle.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd obviously made those connections through, you know, working with them and travelling with them at UPW, and I was like, well, I'm booking you for this show if you're up for it. And they were all game for it. But Ollie, our good friend Priscilla, did message me and said, I've seen the hype for the shows, like the stuff that you're putting out. and I don't understand how you've done it, but you've brought together all these different worlds. And I was like, well, it was easy because there wasn't anyone, there was no animosity. We all get on, and it was, do you want a job? Yes, fine. Would you like, are you free on this date? And that's exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
Really, there shouldn't be all those different things. But I guess, like you said, you've got to play ball sometimes. You've got to make sure that you're impressing the right people. And I guess those guys have got tenure now, to the point where they feel that they can ask for permission to go and do these other shows, and they know they'll get it.
Or maybe they don't. Or maybe
they don't even need permission.
They don't need permission anymore. I think that's the thing, isn't it? No one needs permission as long as you're not being buried or damaging work that you've done out. And I guess that's always the fear, isn't it? With branding, there's a certain amount of branding and there's a certain amount of effort that goes into building a product, whether that's a person or a promotion, and that can be very quickly undone. Yeah. What takes years to build, we all know this, right? A statue takes years of loving craft and attention, right? But a moron with a hammer can take it to bits in a matter of moments. So you can always understand that, right? If you've built a certain guy up in a certain area to be a certain thing, whether it's a monster or a heel or a face or what have you, and then they go 15 miles down the road and it all gets unravelled, well, that could be years of investment undone. Yeah. But I tell you what stood out for me though, Joe Strange versus Sean Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Joe had an amazing match with him, right?
Yeah.
Joe came back and was like, that's probably one of my top 2 or 3 matches I've ever done, right? And without Hex Pro, why would Sean and...
They would never have crossed paths, would they? No.
And yet they had an absolute barn burner.
Yeah.
Absolute barn burner. Sean's a lovely guy. I don't know him, like, our paths didn't cross too much. He came to the academy after I kind of phased out down there. But I've seen what he does, and I've seen this stuff that he does with Louis, and I've seen the stuff he does for RPW, and it's really good. And I was fascinated to see what he did with Joey, and their match was awesome.
Yeah.
And you got to think, haven't you? Like, that would never have, like...
No. And Sean was a recommendation from one of the other lads.
Yeah.
I said, I need an extra body, and you guys said, there's a few lads from
Great
school.
Unit. Tall, well built, works well, polite backstage.
Yeah.
Couldn't say nice, but you honestly couldn't say nicer things about that guy.
Yeah.
Whoever trained him is a testament to him. He's he did everything right.
He turned up early. He was one of the first ones in the building with me, putting the ring, or sorting the ring out. So ticked all the boxes for me. So, and I will look to reuse a lot of the same crew. Now, obviously, I'm going to be very careful about not putting on the same cards and being boring, but there are a lot of those guys will kind of be in the rotation, and I will use them kind of in one show off, one show on, that sort of thing. And Sean did enough to be considered part of that in the future if he wants the jobs.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? And building something new with new people, and it's all going to be high quality wrestling. That's it, right? It doesn't have to be 500 people or 1,000 people to want to put on a high.
Dan McGee said to me, and this rang true and resonated with me. He said it was so nice to do a show that was just low pressure. It was just fun. We could just go out there and just have fun, and there was no pressure, there was no expectation on us really. It was just, and I said, and I echoed that sentiment because it scratched an itch for me that I knew I needed to scratch, because what I was missing from the old days of when I used to run my shows was that sense of just a bunch of guys, like-minded individuals who just want to get together and put on a good product.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was just
camaraderie.
There was a
achievement.
Yeah, it was camaraderie. There was no pressure, but it was just that kind of everyone patting each other on the back in a kind of not self-congratulatory, but just we went out there, we did our best, we had fun, and I was listening to the guys. They, Sean and Joe came through the curtain, and there was a bevy of guys who had watched their match, ready to give them feedback.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I just thought, this is what it should be like all the time,
Yeah, everyone cared. That was it. Everyone. So even though he said, it's nice to go out there and do a show that there's no a match there's no pressure. What I love about that sentiment though is that everyone cared.
Yeah.
There was no pressure, and yet when there was no pressure, everyone still really cared and wanted to put on the best match they could.
Yeah, sometimes that gets misconstrued, doesn't it? That whole there's no pressure, so we'll just go out there and we'll do 15 minutes of camp, what's the word I'm looking for? Pantomime stuff, and But no, there wasn't.
Away, you know, phone it in.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
there's no pressure here. We'll just go and phone it in.
We'll walk through the motions.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Yeah, no, there was nothing like that. They all did their usual best foot forward stuff. So
did you see the announcement this week that UPW put out? They've announced their October show this week.
They've called it Steel Cage.
Yeah, that's a fascinating setup, right? Do you know? Are you on that show?
I don't know. I
You
can't
don't
say, I
know?
can't say
Oh,
too
okay.
much. I can't say too much. But the people behind the scenes, I will say this: the people behind the scenes know that there are a few things on my bucket list
Right.
that I haven't ticked off.
Okay.
And I've never worked a cage match.
Right, and that's something you want to do?
Come on. Come on.
Because
You know I'm gonna do something stupid.
Because basically, if you're going to die, you want to die upside down, hanging from a steel cage, right?
If I'm going to go in a steel cage, you know you're going to get something stupid. Something mental is going to happen.
What's the spot? What in your head? What's the spot?
Do you know, I genuinely don't know, because I've played it over and over in my head so many times, and I keep thinking, like, should I try and do something that nobody else has done, or should I stick to the stuff that I know would pop? Because obviously I've got the Swanee and I've got the Mooney, so I could do the Swanton off the top, but then Jeff's done it. You know, I could do the moonsault off the top, but Kurt Angle's done it. No, that's not to say that either of those spots wouldn't be impressive, because they absolutely would. But do I try and be creative and come up with something new? I don't know. But when I find for definite that I've got that opportunity, then the brain juices will start to flow. But yeah,
until then, you're not going to let yourself get overexcited.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, we got to find out who it was that jumped me. Anyway,
that's true. That is true.
By the way, if you haven't been watching or subscribing to the UPW Pivot Share, you need to, because their production values are phenomenal. Their back hit log of shows is great. There's some of the talent on those cards.
Check it out below. There'll be a link in the description to their Pivot Share, to their online streaming service below.
I haven't shared anything about this on my social media yet, because frankly it's disgusting what happened, and also I think people need to see it in context as part of this show.
Yeah.
Because they closed the show out with the final shot of the show is me on the floor, bludgeoned by some pole or something, with blood coming out the back of my head.
We have no idea who hit you.
It's quite graphic. I got no clue. But yeah, it's a shocking.
Well,
moment.
I just found you on the floor.
Yeah.
I just found you on the floor, covered in blood. You know.
Yeah.
And people were backstage were like whispering, saying it must have been me, but like I just found you on the floor, you know, and called for help. So
the investigation is ongoing. So you know, tune in.
That's definitely worth. Honestly, we sat and watched that. Actually, me and some friends sat and watched the 7th anniversary show, and we were just going to watch we were going to watch our bit, right? Because that was my debut, and in the end, we watched the whole thing. And as a show, it's very cohesive. As a TV show, as a TV show, it's very cohesive. It's very well edited, in the sense of it's very well put together, high production value. But you know, whoever does that cutting together really takes their time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, apart from
the 7th anniversary. Yeah. I'm not sure you enjoyed getting knocked out too much.
Wasn't so much a fan of having, you know, the back of my head caved in, but. So yeah, we got some good. As always, we've got some good stuff on the horizon. Can't wait to get today underway properly. We're heading up nice and early. You know,
I've been to the gym today.
Pay the dues. I went yesterday, although I
went yesterday too.
I felt all right. It's not competition.
And the day before that.
All right.
And the day before that. I didn't go the day before that.
I woke up this morning feeling rough, so I've just been dosing myself up with Lemsips and everything. So
literally every time we're on the road.
It's not every time.
It is every time. It is every time.
It's not every time.
If you go back through on the road diaries, every single one, you're like, I kind of feel like shit, but I'm going to pull it out my ass.
No, I always say I wish I felt better, but today I genuinely have got some sort of breed of illness.
Every time. Like, honestly. I don't know if you got like someone in your house got Munchausen, and you're being poisoned. Is that what it is?
It is possible.
Is that it?
It's possible.
Is your wife like trying to slow? Have you got a good insurance package on you?
No, I haven't got no insurance.
Is your wife trying to bump you off?
Well, if she is, she ain't getting no payout. No, I mean, you know, in my real job I work as a teacher, and so I'm also asthmatic, so I am prone to these sort of things. But I said to Bluto pre-rolling on the camera that what normally happens is it gets a half term and then you get end of termitis.
Right.
So your body starts to relax and then you get hit with all the germs that your stress mode body has been fighting off. But that stress mode carried through both of the Hex Pro shows, and then I had things that I needed to do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now it's started to sort of creep in, and my body's relaxed, and now I'm starting to feel a bit rough. But I'll be fine. I'll be fine. This could be a one and done booking.
Just thumb it in.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be good today. I'm looking forward to it. So, what have we got next? What have we got next? We've got EWA today.
Yeah.
What have we got next? You've got Spring Brawl.
Yes, Spring Brawl. I'm wrestling Lance Cole.
Are you?
I am. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be a good match, I think.
Yeah.
Very different styles.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, very different styles.
No, I'll be cool with that. We what else we got? We got Cal Plain, haven't we, for the kind of the South Coast medley, let's call them, this SWF Kapow and Quality.
Which is worth mentioning, we picked up the Quality
We
tag.
are now the Quality Wrestling Tag Team Champions, that's right. Yeah, we did the Botley show for our good friend Rishi and picked up the Tag Champs against Vicious and
That
Delicious.
was a fun match, actually. That
Yeah.
was a really fun, because it was a bit different, because it was best out of 3 falls.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. I quite like that because I'm used to that from Premiere. But yeah, no, obviously Vicious and Delicious, like, we got an ongoing feud with them, and it's always fun. Every time we get in there with them, it's great. And it's always different as well.
That's it, right?
Do you know what? I really enjoyed that.
I think we worked them that week. We worked with V&D. We worked with Ant and Will 5 times in 4 times in less than 7 days. We worked with them, right?
Something like that.
And each match was different.
Well, I really like that about the Hex Pro, because we booked that same tag on both days, but both matches were completely different. You know, told the story that we wanted them to tell, and featured beats that we would have used, you know, in any match, like our usual signature stuff. But it just, yeah, totally different matches. So, and I like that.
So what we've got to do this week is we've got to do our reaction videos. We've got to meet up one night this week, Carl, and we've got to do our reaction to the last UPW show.
Yeah, we could do that. We could probably get some other, like, I'd quite like to react to something that we're not in.
Yeah, that we've said that, haven't we? We'd like to do that. So maybe we can pick a WrestleMania match. I haven't watched any of Mania.
Oh, I watched Night 1 live.
Did you?
Yeah, and then
I didn't watch any of it.
I watched the Jackass match from Night 2.
Right.
I haven't watched anything else from Night 2.
So we can pick a match from that and just watch it and react to it, because I haven't watched anything. So that would be a genuine reaction for me, because I haven't watched any of it. Send us your ideas, guys. We're going to sign off in a second, because I've got to make sure I don't get lost and we get the EWA on time. Send us your suggestions, guys. If there's a particular match, does that do for Mania, actually?
No.
A recent match from any card, AEW, TNA, ROH, whatever, a recent match that you'd like to see us, I guess, preferably a tag team match. I guess I'd like to keep it in theme with us. So, you know, if it's a tag team match that you'd like to see us react to, you know, especially something like AEW or ROH, because you and me are not big followers of any product, so those sort of matches would be a genuine reaction from us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, send us your suggestions on a self-addressed stamp. No, put it in the comments below. You know where to find us,
Really
right?
aged himself.
Like, yeah, like Blue Peter. Send it to P.O. Box. No, put it in the comment below. As always, please subscribe. We're so close to 100 now.
Yeah.
We're so close, and the next target after that is to get to 1,000. So, you know, everything helps. We've got like 400 or 500 followers across other platforms. So if a couple of you could just take 10 seconds to subscribe to this, it would be fantastic. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, as always, you can find us on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're going to be here on YouTube. We're going to be back later this week with a reaction video. Yeah.
God, please subscribe. I can't pay for beard dye on my own.
He does need it. Look at the state of it.
It's bad. I'm going grey.
We should just get you a black one, just so you're not so ginger, right?
Very nice. It's distinguished gentleman.
And then we'll sign off as we always do, Carl.